So first what you need to do for doing Cloudwatch and SNS is that you need to go to Cloudwatch, which is over here. Okay, so let me tell you that what exactly Cloudwatch is. Now Cloudwatch we use for creating alarms. Okay, so I'll give you an example. Let us say there is an EC2 instance running, and in that particular EC2 instance, you have got, for example, a certain usage of CPU, a certain usage of network bandwidth, and these things are happening. So you want to kind of take a decision, or let's say, for example, you try to take an alarm, raise an alarm whenever this particular resource. Or let's say, for example, you try to take an alarm, raise an alarm whenever this particular resource, this thing that it is using. You will understand it. Wait, I'll tell you. Okay. So whenever you're crossing this particular threshold, either a higher threshold or a lower threshold, you want to trigger an alarm. Now, whether you want to send a warning or you do not want to send a warning, that is on you. You can do anything with that alarm, but you can raise an alarm. Once you get an alarm, then it is on you that how you want to implement the reaction to that particular event. So the event has happened, that will be notified to you by that alarm. Now, what you want to do with that, that is your choice. So CloudWatch is a tool that allows you to monitor these things. It is a monitoring tool that allows you to monitor these things and kind of get you the alarm whenever the situation is coming. There is another thing I talked about, that is SNS, which is present over here, which stands for Simple Notification Service. So when you are getting an alarm raised over here, you can use SNS to bind with that alarm, and you can say that I want to send an email to this group of people whenever there is an issue with this particular thing. Right, so that becomes very easy to design kind of an automated solution for your monitoring and emailing to the respective groups of people who are actually responsible for that. Okay, so if I try to show you this thing, so first of all, let me launch a server. Okay, so I'm going to launch a server, and through that server I'm going to show you these things. So I'm going to monitor that server's resource usage and things like that. So I'm not changing much of the things. Let it be in the default network, not a big deal. See, whenever you have a server, you have a monitoring thing that is going on. I mean, for example, if I talk about this server also, okay, here also you'll find out that if you go to the monitoring tab, there are a lot of things that are getting monitored. The CPU utilization, the disk read, disk write, etc. The network in, network out, network packets in and out, right? Status check failing and all those things. CPU credit usage, credit balance. There are 14 different. I think 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10. Yes, 14. There are 14 different metrics that are being tracked over here, and that is tracked by default. You don't need to worry about tracking these metrics. You will see that by default, CloudWatch is tracking this particular metrics. That will happen for this one as well. Okay, but right now there is no reading, of course. We just now started it. It will take a little time to get the reading. In fact, it will get 5 minutes to get the reading. The first reading comes in 5 minutes of time. If you see this one, this is already an existing server. The WordPress instance is running over here. If I try to show you the CPU utilization for this, you will see this is basically how the graph is going on. So it is kind of showing you from 17th of March. You can see every 5 minutes. Notice the time. This is 7:43 a.m. This is 7:48 a.m. This is 7:53 a.m. There is 7:58 a.m. and like that. So we find out that every single 5 minutes it is going to take a reading. Now, if I want to take the reading, even let's say less, with the higher frequency, so basically less time period difference, that is, let's say every 1 minute. So that is actually called granularity. So I should in fact say If we want to do the monitoring or take the reading with a higher granularity, means it's a higher frequency. That is, now it is reading 5 minutes. I want to read it in 1 minute. Okay, so what I can do, I can actually enable the detailed monitoring. It comes with a charge. Remember, you need to pay for it if you're clicking there. You can see it says additional charges apply. Let's say I'm enabling this. If I do so, right away we will not see any change. The period is 5 minutes only. But if I refresh, then you will find out that the period has become 1 minute. So the 5 minutes, 15 minutes, this thing still exists, but you are still seeing that there is a much higher frequency option, that is 1 minute frequency. So every single minute it is going to kind of do the checking kind of a thing. I shall disable this because this comes with a higher price and all those things. That's cool, but right now we don't need it, so you can disable that. Refresh it back, and you will see that we are back into our situation where we are storing data every 5 minutes. You can again go and you can see it, and you will see that the 1 minute option is gone, right? So it took the first reading, guys. You can see it is like a 16.16% reading. So the entire value that you are seeing, that is actually in percentage. It is not that 0.16 means 16%. 0.16 means it is 0.16%. Of course, there is no usage going on right now on the CPU. I mean, it is empty, right? So nothing is happening on the machine. So you can see there is a very little CPU usage, and the reading has been taken at 825, right? So the reading has been taken at 825. All right. So you can see it has started taking the readings. Now let this guy be here. Let me design a CloudWatch monitor for this particular guy. So I'll go to CloudWatch instance, CloudWatch monitoring, and I'll come to alarms. Okay. I'll create an alarm for this machine. So I'm going to create alarm. Now you can see the first thing it asks us to select a metric. Select a metric. So you can see there are a lot of options. Now we know we're going to go for EC2 and click on EC2. I'll go to per instance metrics over here. And I have to actually find out my instance with the instance ID. And you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 options are coming over here on which you can put an alarm. Okay. So let us say I'm going to put an alarm on CPU utilization itself. I'm going to select this. You can see the reading value is being displayed over here. That is 0.167 it is telling. Now here you can see this particular metric is actually in a very low state of value. Now typically your CPU utilization of a running machine will not become that less. It will become a little higher if there is some transaction going on. Now in this one it is pretty much empty. Nothing is happening. So you're finding it so low. See how we can design this particular alarm thing. Okay, we can say that if the CPU utilization that is coming automatically because we selected that, for this instance ID because we selected that, there is no instance name, that's fine. The tag name, okay, that is blank. Now here starts your designing part. Do you want to go for an average, a maximum, a minimum, a sample count, a sum of all the readings, or a percentile? P90 is percentile. Okay, now typically people end up using average, minimum, and maximum. These three are the widely used ones. You can go for the other ones also anyway. So these three are widely used. So let us say I'm saying that if the average of CPU utilization for, let's say, 1 minute of time, now as soon as I'm hitting 1 minute or less than that, remember I'm going for CloudWatch detailed monitoring. That means I'm going to pay extra charge for it. If I stick to 5 minutes, I'm not paying anything. If I go to 1 minute, I'm paying. Anyway, so I'm saying that if the average for 1 minute of time frame of the CPU utilization for this machine is greater than 60%. This is what you're telling. So you can see there is the threshold they're putting, and your reading is over here, way below that. Okay, let us go for less than. If it is less than, let's say, for example, 10%, still it's too much of difference. It is here and it is here. Anyway, so I'm telling you if it is less than 10%, okay, the threshold type is static. If you go for anomaly detection, that will be more like, you give a band basically. I mean, a lower and a higher point. So within this band, it has to be. If it goes beyond it, then there is something wrong. If it goes lower than it, there is still something wrong, right? we'll go for static anyway. So we are saying that if it is lower than, for example, 10%, then we can click next. But let us see the additional configuration. If I give 1 point out of 1 point, that means it is going to see just one single data point. If that is less than 10, it is going to raise the alarm. But I can say like this, that don't go for it if it's 1 out of 1 point is less than that. You should in fact go for it in case there are, let's say, 3 out of 5 points. So if it is getting 5 points of reading, so within the last 5 points, if 3 of them, and then you calculate the average of those 3, and that is lower than 10%. Now why this thing is important? See, okay, I should make it 3. Why this is important? See, because if I go 1 out of 1 point, now let us say at some point of time you switched on the server or something and suddenly there was a spike. That happens a lot of times. There will be some unnecessary spikes, which is not the regular behavior, but it just happens. So now this spike you are supposed to ignore when you are doing a monitoring. But if you go for that 1 out of 1, then that spike itself will be considered as a valid point. But if I go 3 out of 5, we will see that it is actually that out of 5 points, now 1 point was spike, but the other 4 were not. So 3 out of 5 will give you a better result over there. So I'm saying if 3 out of 5 points over a period of 1 minute of time, every single point basically is taken on 1 minute of time. If we are finding out the average of that is less than 10%, then let us go for raising the alarm. Instead of average, you can go for the other metrics also. Let's say I'm going for minimum. If I'm saying that the minimum of the last 3 data points in the last 5 records that I have, out of the 5 records I have in the last one, if any 3, right, within that, at least one is having a minimum of 10% or less than 10%, then I'm going to raise the alarm, right? So that there is a difference. If I'm saying that average of these 3 things is less than 10%, and here I'm saying that the minimum one, the least one of them, if that is less than 10%, any 3 points out of the last 5, then I want to raise an alarm. Similarly, you can go for maximum. Now minimum and average both are suitable for the lower threshold. Again, maximum and average both are suitable for the higher threshold. The average is suitable for everything basically. So, but anyway, minimum, maximum, these points exist because there is a big difference. Let's say if I'm saying that you are looking into 5 data points, and if the average of that is less than more than 70%, and if I say that 1 out of those 5 is more than 70, the maximum is more than 70, that makes a little difference, right? So that's a lot different thing. Also in terms of time, if you see, let's say I'm saying that within 5 minutes the average should be less than 10, and I'm saying that, okay, let's assume this way. I'm saying, let's say that within 5 minutes there are 5 data points, because I am reading one minute each data point. So within 5 minutes the average should be less than 10%. That means all the 5 data points the average should be less than 10. If you say that 5 minutes the maximum should be, or let's say the minimum should be less than 10%. So out of those 5 data points, if even any one is less than 10%, it is considered as a valid situation. So that's the difference between minimum, maximum, and your average, right? Let us say I want to go for minimum anyway. I mean, anything is fine. I'm going for next. And then comes the notification over here, okay? Then comes the notification. So it is telling, so you can take multiple kind of actions. You can take a notification action, you can take a auto scaling action, you can take an EC2 action, right? So whatever you choose. So notification action is basically sending someone a notification, right? So you can send someone a notification if the situation is an alarm. You can send a notification if the situation is okay. You can send a notification if the situation is insufficient data. Now remember, sending notification is a very good thing, but too much of notifications is extremely bad. So we will be sending notification only in case of alarm, but you need to understand what these 3 options mean. Alarm situation means that whatever you told, that less than 10%, so if it is happening, that is called an alarm situation. Okay situation basically means that when you have read the last 5 data, but you're finding out that no, it is not exactly going below 10%, so it is actually not in the alarming condition. It is called the okay state. And insufficient data state is basically when you are reading but you have not yet got all the enough number of data points. So for deciding, right, you need 5 data points. You have not yet got 5 data points. You are still way below 5 data points. In that particular case, you will consider it to be a insufficient data. I do not have the data yet with myself. That is called an insufficient data. So now we do not have any SNS clearly so far. So let us create an SNS. So you can see there is one topic. Let me delete this. I don't need this one. I'll create a topic of my own. I'll tell you what topic is. Alright, so this is what it looks like. And you can start creating topics basically, right? So let's go to topics and let us start creating topics. So topic is basically on which you can send people SMS. So you can say people that hey, this SMS is coming on this SMS, not SMS. It can be SMS also, by the way, but we'll be sending email. So you can say that this email is coming on this particular topic, the subject and the things, right? Basically, on which particular topic you are sending the email that you have to mention over here. So let us. I'm going to call this thing test topic. Okay. I'm going to write down the same thing, display name over here with a space. I mean, the topic name does not support a space, and this is like, more like a human readable thing. Okay. So you have to click on create topic over here. When you create the topic, the next thing that comes into picture is a subscription. So who all are subscribing to this particular topic? Now the people who are subscribing to this particular topic are the people who are going to get the emails and things. Now let us say I'm going to create a subscriber over here. I'm going to click on create subscription. I'm selecting email over here. Then comes the email ID. So after writing this, I'm going to create subscription. And once I do so, you can see it is telling that the status is pending confirmation. So the subject has to accept the email. Alright, so once the kind of confirmation of the subscription is done, then you can see if I refresh, the status will change to confirmed and it says confirmed with a green tick. So this is what we're looking for. So right now, anything happens on this particular topic, the email ID that I have added over there, that email ID that is going to receive an email about that, right? So whenever I'm sending a notification. So yeah, in this particular topic, there is as of now one subscription. You can add as many subscriptions as you want. You can add thousands of email IDs, not a big deal. But let's continue with one for testing this thing. So when it is in an alarm state, I want to send a notification to a topic, right? So I'm going to select an existing SNS topic, but unfortunately not display over here. It is not displaying because when I came to the screen at that point of time, this particular topic was not there, right? So it is not displaying over there. So nothing to worry about it. You can just click on use topic ARN. ARN stands for Amazon resource name. And you can copy the ARN of this particular topic. So you can come back to your topics and you'll find out the ARN over here. So you can just select the entire thing. You can just copy and paste this one. So had I created this thing earlier and went over there, you would have seen that it was coming in the drop down, but it is not because it was created later. So it is not catching it yet. But I can just put it and I'll be good to go. Not an issue. Now this is the notification settings I'm doing, right? So auto scaling action will not do from here. Auto scaling has got a separate dashboard. But for the EC2, we can do it from here. EC2 action. Now see, I'm telling that in case it is going in alarm, I want to stop the instance, let's say. I can add another action. I can say that when it goes to OK state, I want to do something else, and I can keep on doing like that. But anyway, there is no point in doing something in OK state. I can remove, and I'm just doing it in case of alarm state. I'm saying that I want to stop the instance if it is an alarm. Okay, I'm going to click on next. It is asking for a name for the alarm, so let's give it a name. Let's call this thing my alarm test. Okay, clicking on next. The description is not mandatory. You can write it down if you want to. And you can see this is what is going to happen. This machine is definitely going to be stopped because we know that we are saying it is less than 10%, stop it, but it is definitely less than 10%. Okay, so it's going to get stopped, right? It is the review screen. You can see everything and you can go and create the alarm. Once you do so, you can find out it is right now in insufficient data because right now it has not yet gathered enough data to decide on this thing. And if I refresh the alarm part, you will see this thing is coming into picture. Here also it says one of one insufficient data. So it's telling that there is an alarm called my alarm test, which is added to this particular thing and which is right now in insufficient data. It doesn't even have enough data right now. So if you see that this is a situation of this particular thing, it started at 0.166, then it went to 0.06, but then there is a spike for some reason. It went to 4%, even though it's still less than 10% that we told. So let's wait for some time and you will see that once it gains enough amount of data, it will move to alarm state. It will not go to OK state. I'm pretty sure about it because it will never be that it has enough data and it is more than 10. No, it will be always less than 10 as per the current graph situation. So it will go to the alarm state and immediately that email ID that I have registered, that will immediately receive an email saying that, hey, this thing is actually, stopped. So that email ID will get an email of state changed because the state of this machine from running will be changed to stopped. So let's wait for some time and let us wait till this thing from insufficient data, it moves on to that one. Oh, it has gone to alarm state. I think the email has definitely received an email. If I refresh, whenever this particular thing will happen, this SNS topic will receive a notification and that notification will be sent to this particular endpoint, whatever email ID I have written, right? So this email ID would have received an email and where it will be written that there is a state change and for that the notification is being received. So basically it has been from whatever to stop, right? It was running and now it is stopped. That is basically what is happening. All right. So this is basically the idea of SNS and Cloudwatch. You add Cloudwatch alarm to something and you attach an SNS topic with that. So therefore, when the particular CloudWatch alarm is raised and you receive the SNS topic and all these things are happening, you're ultimately getting a notification for that, and also the action is being taken over here that the machine is getting killed. All right. So this is the process. This is the thing about CloudWatch. Now this CloudWatch alarm we use for a lot of things. I mean, not only for sending notifications. So you also use the CloudWatch alarm for determining auto scaling activities. So auto scaling simply means that I have, let's say, a particular server which I want to scale up in size. So basically, I want to launch 5 copies of that because one server I know can handle, let's say, for example, 100 people. If they are coming to your website, you can support it with one server. But if there are 500 people, you need 5 servers. I'm just giving an example. So in that case, you want to launch 5. Now, how do you track that? The more these people are coming, your traffic is coming, the network bandwidth usage will increase, and you can track that through CloudWatch. Once you track that with CloudWatch, you can actually go for doing an auto scaling activity over there. So for this purpose, we use CloudWatch a lot. I mean, you'll see me using that thing a lot for that purpose. However, before I go over there, let me talk about a little bit more about CloudWatch over here. So you can see again, it has come back to insufficient data because the thing is dead, right? So there is no enough data to decide what is happening. You can create a billing alarm from here. So basically, whenever your billing actually crosses a particular amount, you can get an alarm that, let's say, monthly you're setting up an alarm for 500 rupees. If you cross 500 rupees in a month, you immediately get an alarm that you can do from CloudWatch billing alarms part. So try it out. It is very straightforward. Create an alarm, you will see, you'll understand, right? You can try it out. I cannot do it from this user account. I have to do it from the root account. You can see I'm using a user account over here, Vishal at Teqstories, right? So when you use your root account, you can set up this alarm. Okay, this account doesn't have a permission to set up a billing alarm over here. I cannot even see the bills. I mean, if I try to see the bill, if I go to my account, my billing dashboard, I think it will not be displayed. Let me check it out. Yeah, see, you need permission. So this account doesn't have enough permission to work on the billing part. Okay. Anyway, there are the logs that comes into picture. You can create log groups and you can see the insights. The logs will come if you create CloudWatch logs. Right now we saw CloudWatch alarms. We didn't see CloudWatch logs, but you can create CloudWatch logs also. If you create CloudWatch logs, they'll be appearing over here. Okay. So if you click on let's get started, it'll come to log groups basically, right? So you can see there is one log group that I had created earlier. I was guiding someone on RDS. Okay, so I'll delete this one. Not a big deal. Okay. So we can actually create a log group from here, create metric filter, and you can actually write down a filter pattern over here. See, you can click on show example. See, it is like error pattern, info, warning, a lot of things can be done. Okay. Typically, people do not create log groups from here. People create log groups from different services. So automatically log groups will be created. Just like you saw that from RDS we created one. So ultimately what happens once you create a log group, the effect of that particular log group will be like this, that you will find out that it is lying over here, and you click on that, you can go to the insights and you can find out that what is happening about that log group. Means what? Means let's say I am storing a, okay, I'll give you a simple example. Let us say I am doing a database activity. In the database, I'm trying to run certain queries. Now, when I'm running certain queries, I'll find out that there are certain queries that are taking a lot of amount of time. So that is called a slow query. Okay. So it is a very popular log among the database administrators. That is a slow query log. So whenever there is a query running which is taking more than a given amount of time, you will consider that to be a slow query. So you can set up a slow query log over here. What will happen is that whenever there is a slow query that is running, that log will be stored over here within your log. So if you open up your log file, you will see that, okay, this point of time and date on this particular query has run, and that has taken this much amount of time. So you immediately know that there are certain queries they are running who are actually slow. And when that kind of a thing is happening, you can go and fix it. So that is how we use the logs. The logs are not used for alarm purposes. The logs are just used for taking the data, like storing the logs. That's it. The metrics, the section where you actually find out all the metrics that we use basically. So I already showed you the metrics while creating the alarms. So the metrics are basically coming over here. You can see right now there are 1483 metrics. This number might vary from account to account. In your account it might be less, it might be more, depending upon how many services right now you're running. So right now for this account, all these services are on. So therefore you are seeing all these things. If there is only EC2 instance running and other services are not there, you will not find other things coming up. So the metrics will always be depending upon what all number of services it is you are running right now. Okay. So metrics means basically one graph, like CPU utilization is a metric, network in is a metric, network out is a metric, and things like that. You'll find out events over there. The events you can actually create events over there, and you can actually send it to SNS topic. The events can be anything. The events are basically kind of generic things. See, I can say that okay, I can take the, let's say, EC2 service. Okay, where is it? EC2. I can take the EC2 service and I can say what kind of event. I can say it is, let's say, for example, snapshot notification. You can take any event. Snapshot notification simply means that if there is a snapshot taken, send a notification. Let us say, for example, state change. Is there a state change over here? Spot, fast, instant state change. The second one, right? State change notification. So it is telling for any state, do you want to take the notification or do you want to take it for certain specific state? I want to go for some specific state. I'm saying that if there is a state change and the state ends up to be, let's say, shutting down, that means one machine is dying. If the state becomes shutting down, that means one machine is dying. And I want to track that for any instance, right? So no matter which instance it is, if you want to track for a specific instance, you can write it down over here. You'll find that the instance ID you have to write down. Other than that, you can say any instance of the matter. If that is going to go through a state change and the state change is like shutting down, so if it is getting killed, then I want to receive an email. So if this thing is happening, I want to receive an email. This is what you are telling. So you are not specifically writing it for alarm. Is what alarm is for? A specific EC2 instance. You can do it from here also, but here I don't want alarm. We just need the notification and we're good to go. I'm not stopping the EC2 instance from shutting down. I'm not doing anything on the EC2. The EC2 never knows that anything is going on, but we have a monitoring event over here. We're monitoring this event in case there is a shutting down event happening on any EC2 instance. For the matter of fact, please send a notification to the test topic. So whatever email ID is registered in the test topic, that is going to get a notification. That is the idea. So this is basically what is happening over here, right? So you can create this event and you can basically save this thing. Once you configure details, if you do this particular thing, then you are done. You will start receiving emails on this particular issue whenever any instance is getting shut down. All right, this is the JSON that is getting created. So always remember, it works on JSON, AWS completely. Whatever thing you do from the GUI, that will be ultimately converted to a JSON string, and that JSON will be the one that will be, I mean, if you know how to write a JSON, you can write by yourself and you can get the things done. You don't even need to use the GUI. Fine. So this is more or less about your CloudWatch and SNS topic. So we can actually delete this topic. So I can unsubscribe this email ID so that this email ID does not keep on receiving emails. We can delete this. This is the topic itself by clicking on delete over here. So you have to write down delete me for the deletion to take place. And once you're done with it, you can see we are empty once again, back to 0, right? We can go and we can delete the alarm as well. So you can come over here, you can select this guy, and I can say that, hey, I don't need you anymore. So you can as well get deleted, and it's gone. Everything is clean and clear. If I come back, if I refresh, you will see this thing is gone because I deleted the alarm, right? So you can see it is gone, right? There is nothing anymore. So we can go and terminate the machine, right?